Welcome to the Johnny Fongo Show. I am Johnny Fongo. It is March 10th, 2021. A little bit about the show real quick. This show is about sharing my research in the cannabis sector, particularly publicly traded companies. We will look at everything cannabis, THC, CBD, hemp, and everything in between. Some stories featured will look at companies that are not publicly traded yet. It's a good idea to put them on a list and keep Googling them. I am not a financial professional. I'm just a regular guy. I'm a big fan of the plant, a big fan of investing, big fan of trading, and a big fan of research. I hope you enjoy the information I share. Any stock or company I talk about is not a recommendation to buy it. It is more a recommendation to learn more about the company if it fits into your strategy. With that being said, let's get to it. All right, we're going to run down through some headlines from late last night and early this morning. Okay, starting off, looks like the Green Organic Dutchman reports fourth quarter and year-end 2020 financial results. It says here, can past medical sales predict recreational sales? Alifa Health raises more than $22 million via unit sale. Okay. Sugarbud announces $4 million bought deal, public offering of units. Okay. Acreage Holdings reports fourth quarter and full year 2020 results. That's good. Safe and sustainable vaping. Swiss X launches tobacco line and e-cig replacement products. Okay, never heard of Swiss X. We'll look maybe more at that. Mobius Interactive appoints new vice president with 3 decades of corporate development, investor relations expertise. That comes through at 11:06 p.m. last night. First thing this morning at 3 o'clock from Newsfile, Inocan Pharma announces patent application for novel cannabis-based anti-itch treatment. Okay. And then Ex-Vido Partner receives ISO certification for 25-minute COVID-19 RT-PCR test. That came through at 3:05 this morning. Says here, Fast Forward Innovations agrees to sell interest in EMMAC Life Sciences. Shares fall. BDSA expands retail sales tracking in the Canadian market through strategic licensing agreement with Fire and Flower subsidiary High Fire. That came through at 6 o'clock this morning. And then the last headline we have right here for now is Grapefruit USA Incorporated accepts outside director's resignation. From Globe Newswire at 6 o'clock this morning. All right, we're taping pretty early this morning. Right now it is just a little bit past 6:20. Let's get into one or two of these stories and see if anything else develops as we move on through. Let's look at, can past medical sales predict recreational sales?
Can past medical cannabis sales predict rec sales? New Jersey is expected to start recreational cannabis sales either later this year or early next. Until then, it's not known what the combined med and rec sales will be, but Cantor Fitzgerald analyst Pablo Zuanic has a rough idea. He decided to take a look at the numbers in other states to help forecast what can be expected from the Garden State. Med sales can help predict rec sales, a bit, Zuanic wrote in his recent note. He pulled data on Massachusetts, Colorado, Illinois, Michigan, Massachusetts, and Arizona, which began recreational cannabis sales in late January 2021, to get a clearer picture. What the numbers show, the right multiplier erect med depends on several factors, Zuanic said. Besides the so-called 3 as access, affordability, and assortment, there needs to be a look at a state's development of a medical market prior to the recreational launch, coupled with recreational availability in neighboring states. Here's a peek at some of the states mentioned, and how their combined reg and med markets grew. Massachusetts, the multiplier 2 years in was 6x. Arizona, it's expected to be 2-3x. California, it was just 1.2x 2 years in, due to red tape, high taxes, and a large illicit market, Zuanic added. Oregon, med was about $490 million in 2017, a rec had already started. In 2020, total recreational plus medical was $830 million, so the multiple here would be about 2x. Washington, medical was about $930 million in 2017, a rec had already started. In 2020, total rec and med was $1.11 billion, so the multiple would be 1.2x. Nevada, medical was about $270 million in 2017, a rec had already started. In 2020, total rec and med is expected to be $785 million, or 3x. New Jersey, the size of the rec and med market could be 5-6x larger than medical 12 months into recreational. We are not changing our current market projections, but this analysis could mean upside to our AZ and NJ market estimates, Zuanic added. Still, medical markets were at different stages of development in these states before rec started, so comparisons can only go so far. Case study: Zuanic estimates New Jersey med sales currently hover between $270 million and $300 million, which would put med per capita at only $30, or 1/5 of Arizona's levels. He specifically cited the Benzinga Cannabis Capital Conference, where Wellness Inc. OTC, AYRWF management said Garden State Dispensary, which are agreed to acquire, has a canopy of 30,000 square feet, and the state has 300,000 square feet in total. If those figures are right, and we assume companies sell all they produce in NJ, this would mean the market is at $300 MN, Zuanic says. GSD was valued at $101 MN before earnouts, or 3.4x current sales, which implies the company is doing $30 MN in sales. If indeed they have 10% share, that would put the NJ med market at a $300 MN run rate at present. Zuanic estimates fourth quarter 2020 sales in New Jersey to be at $68 million, or about $272 million annualized. That said, it could be higher if we take canopy data from peers, he adds, citing that total New Jersey canopy could be closer to 500,000 square feet. Curaleaf Holdings Inc. OTCQX, CULF, has disclosed 153,000 square feet, Verano Holdings OTC, VNOF 120,000, Terrascent Corp. OTC, TSF 80,000, Columbia Care Inc. OTC, CHWF 50,000, and Acreage Holdings OTC, ACLEF 30,000.
Thank you, Mia. That was a great report. Those are some great numbers, square footage-wise, how much all these companies are growing and all the states are doing, but they can do better. Okay, on to our next story. Let's see. Cantor Fitzgerald initiates coverage on Auxly Cannabis Group with overweight rating, announces price target of 85 cents. This is just a short little blurb here, not much of it. If anybody is into Auxly or knows of it, I've heard of it. I have not done anything with it. Looks like the only ticker we can find here is TSXV XLY. On the TSXV, you can find that as XLY, the Auxly Cannabis Group. All right, Alifa Health raises more than $22 million via unit sale. Alifa Health Incorporated. On the TSX, you can find that as AH. On the OTCQX, you can find that as ALEAF. Raised $22.7 million via a previously announced bought deal offering. Under the offering, vertically integrated cannabis company issued 27.3 million units of the company with a price tag of 83 cents for gross proceeds of 22.7 million, counting a partial exercise of the over-allotment option. Okay, yep, looks like it's trading at about 54 cents a share right now on the OTCQB at ALEAF. All right. I've heard of this one, never really put it on a watch list or anything. We'll have to dig in a little bit deeper and see exactly what they're doing. I don't know if they're growing or what they're doing. So Alifa Health, I'm going to look a little bit deeper into this and hopefully have some more for you in a future episode. Okay, next up is a story about Sugarbud announces a $4 million bought deal public offering of units. Mia, would you please explain this further for us?
Sugarbud Craft Growers Corporation, a TSEC v:/SUGR, SUGR.weight, SUGR.WS, SUGR.db Sugarbud, or the company, is pleased to announce that it has entered into an agreement with Mackey Research Capital Corporation as the sole underwriter and sole borrowor of the underwriter, pursuant to which the underwriter have agreed to purchase, on a bought deal basis, 66,670,000 units of the company, the units at a price of 6 cents per unit for aggregate gross proceeds to the company of $4,200,000, the offering. Each unit shall be comprised of 1 common share of the company, a common share, and 1 common share purchase warrant of the company, a warrant. Each warrant shall entitle the holder thereof to purchase 1 common share at an exercise price of 8 cents at any time up to 36 months from the closing of the offering. The company has granted to the underwriter an option, the overallotment option, to increase the size of the offering by up to an additional number of units, and all the components thereof, that in aggregate would be equal to 15% of the total number of units to be issued under the offering, to cover overallotments, if any, and for market stabilization purposes, exercisable at any time, and from time to time up to 30 days following the closing of the offering. The net proceeds from the offering will be used for additional processing and production equipment purchases, facility upgrades, further new product development, working capital, and general corporate purposes, including the national launch of Sugarbud's expanded portfolio of Cannabis 2.0 products.
All right, that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about Sugarbud? From the looks of it, it seems to be just a Canadian play. I can't find an OTC ticker for it. So if you could kind of tell us about the company some.
Sugarbud is an Alberta-based, consumer-driven boutique craft cannabis company focused on the cultivation and production of superior, select-batch, craft cannabis products. Our vision and mission are to become a trusted and well-respected consumer brand renowned for providing exceptional high-quality craft cannabis products to legal markets by delighting the most discerning of cannabis consumers. The Sugarbud Craft Cannabis Collection offers consumers handcrafted cannabis for a new era. The company is proudly Albertan, and is proud to share Western Canada's long tradition of exceptional craft cannabis with the most discerning of enthusiasts. Sugarbud strives to define the intersection of product craftsmanship, quality, and value for consumers in the Canadian craft cannabis space.
Okay, Sugarbud. Maybe one of these days they will get on the OTC. But sounds like it might be a good play for Canadians that can trade that on the TSXV. Next up, we've got a story here about Tilray receives approval to expand and commercialize medical cannabis products in New Zealand. We need to take a look at that. Tilray is a big player in the industry, and they're exporting, it seems like, to a lot of different places. With that being said, I just want to take a second to thank everyone that's listening. It's been a great time working on this podcast for you, trying to share my research. And Carla would like to say thank you as well. She is my